Hi guys, let's talk about money and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jadisola, and like I said earlier, we're going to be talking about money today. Let me see this properly. So, have you ever wondered why this topic of money is never discussed on the dining table at home? It's never taught in school. It's something you hardly discuss with your friends, your spouses. Like, why is it that this very important topic, we don't really talk about it? And then people just expect that suddenly you grow up, you become an adult, and then you're like the richest person in the world. How does that happen? Like, it's not magic. Making money has to do with your habits, and if you are not a disciplined person, it will be very difficult for you to build wealth and break all these generational curses that people are talking about, because sometimes it's not prayers that you need, you just need to change your habits. So, how did I save over £15,000 in emergency funds that helped me relocate? Now, for people that understand the conversion to Naira, they will know that that is a lot of money. So, number one for me was I figured out the difference between my wants and my needs. And let me go back a little bit. Like, for you to build wealth, you need to invest. But before you can invest, you need to have money that you can use to invest, which means that to start to build wealth, everything starts from savings, right? And how can you save? You can only save when you don't spend up to the amount that you earn, right? So that is the only formula. Your income minus your expenses gives you your savings, or how much you can invest, so to speak. So now, how can you now save, right? um and that's why I said you need to figure out, first of all, what do you spend money on a regular basis. So are they wants or are they needs? And one of the things that I did was I looked at certain things that I was spending a lot of money on. I tried to cut back. So for example, very guilty of eating out a lot. So I used to eat out a lot. I used to order Chinese a lot. I could order like 5, 6 times a month. I had to cut back on that, just consciously knowing that I'm spending a bit too much money, eating out, when I could actually cook something even better and cheaper at home. I had to cut back on that. The second thing I cut back on was salon visits. Now, for black women out there, you would know that making hair and looking good is very expensive. From how much you spend to buy your weave, to regular salon visits to get it installed, to pampering your scalp, everything is expensive. So what I did in my own situation was I invested in a good wig, and I would wear that all the time. So I would have all these versatile wigs that I could. It would give me the same feeling like I was switching up my hairstyle. And I would buy products that I would use to take care of my personal or my natural hair at home. So that was saving me a lot of money. Then the other thing that I did was also to just cut out cable TV. Then there was no Netflix, but I realized that I wasn't even at home for the most, part of the day. I only come home to sleep. So there was no need paying premium for cable TV every month. So I cut that out. So that obviously freed up some cash for me to save. Number two for me is I don't keep up with the Joneses. Like, that is one of the habits that actually don't help a lot of people save money to invest. How are you going to save when you are trying to compete with people that you don't need to be competing with? Like, on what basis are you competing with people? If you cannot afford something, or you have a goal you're working towards, like, Why are you trying to feel among just because people are buying certain watches or people are taking certain vacations? Then you just go and join them. One thing that helped me to save a lot of money was Ashwebi. For people that don't understand what Ashwebi is, so like in Nigeria, when people are celebrating things, they like to make people buy the same type of fabric, so everyone will be coordinated at the event and it looks beautiful. But I realized that one, I end up not liking some of the fabrics. Some of them are even like repeated, like you go to someone's event and then they pick something that is similar to what you bought for another person's event. The visit to tailors itself, that we will discuss on another day. What Nigerian tailors will do to you is so stressful. You go, you drop the clothes with the tailor, then you have to go back for fitting, and then maybe go back to finally get your clothes. It was just very stressful for me. But ultimately is I realized that I was making clothes that I wasn't getting a lot of wear out of. And for someone like me, I like to be able to wear my things and wear them very well. So it was a no-no for me, and people knew me for that, oh, if you were celebrating something, I would attend your event, but I would not buy you Ashwebi. It didn't make sense to me, and that was what I did. It helped me to save money, and I may go to your event and stick out like a sore thumb, like the person that is not wearing the same clothes as everybody, but I didn't care. I didn't mind. I knew exactly why I didn't want to do it, and I didn't do it, right? Um, so it is important, if you want to save money, you don't have to keep up with the Joneses. The third thing that helps me to save money, and I would say this is like the major thing that helped me to save money, is what I call compound interest. Now, for you to be able to build wealth and save money, you either need to increase your income or you decrease your expenses, right? So the easiest bit to start with is to decrease your expenses, to be fair, and then now figure out how to earn more money. And compound interest helped me to earn more money. And I remember then when I would tell people that I had most of my savings in a high interest yielding account in a microfinance bank, and people would look down and say, oh, those banks are not strong enough. They are really strong microfinance banks, and they obviously offer more interest because the pricing of their loans are higher, and therefore they can afford to give you more interest. And that was exactly what I did, and this helped me a lot. So compound interest, like I would fix say 100,000 for example for 30 days, and after 30 days, let's say the interest income on that 100,000 is, for example, is 5,000 naira, right? I would not take out the 5,000. I would reinvest the 105 for another 30 days. The 105 will give me interest income of say 7,000. I would then invest the 112,000 now for another 30 days, and I constantly did that, and this was helping me to really increase my income. I think after a while it just became like my go-to. It was low risk, high reward, as far as I was concerned, and it helped me to really save enough emergency funds. The fourth thing I did was I started to make use of some of my skills. In my last video, I told you that I was an entrepreneur, and a lot of my skills was also quite useful to other institutions, and I had like a side gig where I would do a bit of consultancy and I would earn more money from that. I wasn't spending this money. I was strictly putting it back into my high interest yielding account, which was helping me to grow at every point in time. The next thing that helped me to save more money was I looked at how much I was paying for rent. Now, for most people, your rent would take on between 40 to 60%, some people even 70% of their income. And this is a lot of money. So I was living at a place at the time and I was paying a lot because it was a serviced apartment and it was a one bed. I took the decision to move to a self-serviced apartment, which was cheaper and even had bigger rooms. So I took that sacrifice, or I made that sacrifice to allow myself free up cash for my savings and investments. Last bit that helped me to save money was my understanding of credit. Now, in the part of the world where I'm from, they see credit as a bad thing. In fact, a lot of people look at credit like if you're borrowing money, then you're poor. But there's good credit and bad credit, and that is what it is. There are times that it makes sense for you to borrow money than for you to spend your money upfront. And that was one of the things that I did. So my rent was the largest monthly expense that I had. Oh, not monthly expense, yearly expense, because we pay 1 to 2 years in advance in Nigeria. So I had an investment that was giving me 15% per annum, right? Where my rent was saved, right? And I had the opportunity to take a loan at 10% per annum. Excuse me, why would I go and break my investment of 15% per annum when I can borrow the money at 10% per annum, use the interest income from my investment to pay off the interest on the loan? Huh? Really, like, so there are times that you can actually use credit to save money, because in that case I looked at it that if I break the my investment, then I would end up losing. But if I borrow against it, I still make 5% on the money that I could have lost just by taking it out in the first place. So those are the things that helped me. There are no secrets to how to build wealth. You have to look inwards and look at yourself and look at how you can reduce your expenses or increase your income. And that is where you start from, when you need to start to build wealth. And you can start small, right? So it's not an app that is going to help you to save. You have to make the conscious decision to want to, and then start to apportion a certain amount from your income on a monthly basis or weekly basis, depending on how you get paid, into a savings account. And that was how I was able to save over £15,000 in emergency funds, which is the funds that you actually use to take the decision whether or not you want to jump into the river, because then you can now ask yourself, can I afford to swim? And I asked myself if I could afford to swim, and then I did. I took the plunge into the river, and I was able to survive during the time I wasn't working while I was living abroad. And that's how you do it. If you enjoyed this content, make sure you like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you next time. Bye.